Hello and welcome again. It's me, Mr. D. We're back to the finishing sections of our Happy Little Taco. In our last video, we put the eyes on him. You'll notice that the eye placement on our new little taco is a little different than the one that I've been using in the videos to show you the finished product. You can see his eyes are spaced a little differently and his mouth is off to the one side. So we'll have to wait and see what this little guy does for an expression, but that will be coming. Now, we're going to be spending some time with stitching him together. And so you may remember that we worked in the front loops of the brown for a bit and left the back loops ridged up or pushed out along the back or the inside. And these will be the places that we stitch together. So we're going to need a yarn needle. Notice this one has a nice big eye to it, and we'll be able to push that yarn through there fairly easily. Okay, and of course, when you say fairly easily, then it doesn't want to do that. But there we go. Not too bad. So you can see where we had left the tail out, and you can see where the two sides of the taco meet. I like to put that fold of the taco there where the color change happens so that it's at the bottom and not as obvious as if I'd left it to be the front or something, or the back. You'd see that a lot more. So what I need to do is, first of all, get through this brown loop, kind of get this yarn in place and ready to go. Now I'm going to want to try to match up loops so that it gets sewn together as evenly as possible. Okay, I'm not going to worry about stuffing for a bit. We're going to just kind of get this started and sew the two halves together by way of these loops and match those up. Pull the yarn through, and you want it to be kind of tight. You don't want the thing to come apart at the seams, as it were. We want him to stay together and be a happy little buddy for somebody, whether it's ourselves or a friend or a young person that we know who would enjoy a happy little taco for a friend. We're just kind of going through the matching loops. We're going to go most of the way across before we even think about stuffing it, because we don't want to have to fight the stuffing at the end to keep it in place, or even halfway through. We're going to go as far as we can and still get stuffing in him, just to make it easier on us. Another one in there, and if it looks like you need an extra stitch, a couple of stitches in the same loops, if you feel like that would be a little safer, a little more secure, you're welcome to do that. That is kind of another one of those creative judgment calls. Everybody does these little things, these little finishing touches differently. Notice too, as I'm stitching this, the yarn is trying to kind of coil up on itself because I keep going around and around, effectively coiling the yarn up more. So what I might do, and what I sometimes do, is relieve that tension or that coil that's happening there, is I'll let it kind of hang. You can see that spinning there. You can't see much else. But that let off that tension, and you can see now the yarn is not coiling up as much as it was. just a little bit ago, and makes it a little easier to work with that way too. You can see the opening is closing up, but I want it to be closed a little bit more. Like I said, we don't want to fight that stuffing that we're going to put in at the end any more than we have to. So we're going to just keep going a little bit more until we feel like we can stuff it, but not have it all try to pop out of there. I think I might be about at that point here. Okay, so we have a little opening. The taco is mostly closed up. Now don't worry about these things curling, because you can always kind of reposition them later. It's not going to stay that way. Okay. All right, little taco, let's see what we can do to fill you up. Now, again, speaking about creative decisions, everybody doing things differently, each of us have to decide how much stuffing we want to put in. And you don't want to try to put in too much at one time, but I'm using a kind of a polyfill, like you'd be able to get at a lot of craft suppliers, or even a lot of stores that have craft sections in them are going to have polyfill. So we're going to get that in there, get that stuffed into this little critter. All right. We want to get it all the way across to the other side of that taco shell. Okay, so let's get in a little bit more. That's definitely not enough. But we don't want to do too much at a time. That can make it more difficult, and you get kind of an uneven stuffing when you try to shove too much in there at once. You just want to take it easy. Enjoy it. You can always add more or take some out if you feel like it's just too much. Okay. Poor little thing. Looking half stuffed. Just work some more in there. Try to get him looking like a nice squishy taco. Okay, still need some more. All right. A little bit more in here. All right, we're making progress. Look inside there and see. Some of these polyfill fibers get stuck on the yarn. That is not something that you can necessarily avoid happening, but it's not a big deal. You can pull them off later if that's a problem for you. He's almost there. Okay. Just sitting here thinking maybe I should have broken this into a couple of different videos, the sewing up of the seam and the stuffing, but hopefully you can forgive my anxiousness at just wanting to see this little guy filled up. So what we'll do then is we're going to continue to stitch him together here, and I might back up to this one. We want to keep that stuffing down out of there. We do not want a bunch of stuffing sticking out through the seam. And we're just going to go across, match up our loops, keep the stuffing back. Maybe you can see now what I was talking about. And you can also peel these back a little so you can see your loops in the brown a little easier. Kind of pinch that together while you're going. Keep that polyfill tamed. Back, polyfill, back. Oh, another common little thing that just happened. I pulled a little too briskly and pulled the yarn out of the needle. So we'll get that back in there. Okay. Get over here, little taco. You are nearly stitched up. Okay. and do maybe a couple more at the end to just get that closed in nice and snug. Then we'll take the yarn and kind of weave it back in through some of those loops on the side of the brown section. That just doesn't want to cooperate with me at the moment. We'll get it. And sorry about that focus issue. We're gonna just feed that up through those loops best that we can. Again, trying to get it in the middle of the loops. We don't want it to stick out and show so much. And then we can kind of come across, sorry about that little camera bump, and come across and back down through the loops on this side. See if we can get into some that are really close to the edge. So it'll be good and snug. And then pop out of there before we get into the red. Okay, snug that up. Then we're going to snip that tail free. Let me get this. Look at what we're doing here. And we want to pull that back a bit so we don't accidentally cut something we're not after. Let's see if we can get that better focused. And snip. There we are. Now we have a stuffed, happy little taco. Well, not happy yet, but he will be. We'll see you in the next and the last video where we put the smile on our happy little taco. Bye for now.